I love Halloween because it's my time of year that I want to make gifts for everybody, and I love making little treat boxes. So I grabbed the Lawn Fawn scallop treat box die, and I made 3 different boxes, and I wanted to show you how I made them. They're so simple. Now I have so much Halloween paper in my stash, and it may not be available. Just grab any paper that you have. Now when I'm looking for paper, I'm also trying to find paper that actually has tags inside that I can cut up and turn into tags. So this is obviously a well-loved one by Doodlebug. I have this one in my stash. When I say tags, when you go through your paper, you can cut those up and you can make tags for anything. That's one of my favorite things to do for any holiday. Christmas is one of my favorite ways to utilize those tags as well. There's so many different kinds of papers, and every company has their own way of doing papers and how they look. So I'm just kind of briefly going through these with you, just kind of show you my thought process here. I really wasn't sure where I was going or what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to make some treat bags. So I grabbed this scallop treat box die from Lawn Fawn, and whenever you have anything left over, just store it in the back of your pocket and you can always grab it later. Now it's a weird size, that die, so you cannot fit it in a 6x6 piece of cardstock. So this is cut to 6 by 6.5, I believe, because that vertical line is a lot taller. I wanted to let you know that I've been using this magic mat from scrapbook.com, and I've had 0 warping of any of my cutting plates, so I'm very, very happy with it. Now this die includes the score lines, and so I like to fold it back just gently, because this is really heavy duty cardstock. So I like to fold it back just kind of, you'll see how I just kind of bend it really, really slow, let the fold line do its thing, and then really score it with my bone folder. And I'm putting a piece of white cardstock there, paper there, so hopefully you can see it a little bit better. So you can't really see it in the video, but it's there. Just gently, gently fold it so you don't want to crease it in the wrong place. And then this fold is so close to the handle, I use my fingers to make sure that it folds in the right place. And that, you're going to just make 2 of those. You're going to fold them exactly the same way. And just use your fingers. Make sure you use your bone folder for everything. And now you have 2 of the exact same of this particular die. So you can put them together with either liquid glue or score tape. I like liquid glue because I have some wiggle room. Score tape, if it's stuck forever. So you're going to put a little glue, and that is way too much glue, I'm just letting you know, on the bottom of one of your pieces, and you're just going to nestle it in there. And the reason I like the liquid glue is because now I can bend my sides and make sure everything bends in correctly. And if it doesn't, it'll move just the tiny little bit that you need it to move. Or if you use score tape, you have no wiggle room whatsoever. Now the glue does dry clear, just be aware. There's also these little flaps that I forgot to score earlier. So the better time would be doing it when you score everything, but you're going to fold those in. And you're going to hit them with your bone folder, and you're going to do that for all 4 flaps. And so on the sides, I don't mind using the score tape. Well, for this one, I use score tape. For the other one, I do use liquid glue. Again, you're going to put it on all 4 sides, and once you stick it, it's stuck. So you got to be really careful on where you're going to put it. I'm showing you here, there's a front and a back. This is the back where that crease is, and that's the front. It's a little cleaner edge, and you may or may not have noticed that, so I thought I'd point it out for you. Now, I want to decorate my box because you can't really make a whole box out of 6x6 paper because the die requires 6 by 6.5. So I'm cutting, I think it's a 1-inch strip, and I'm going to look for something coordinating out of I thought that orange would be good. You could use a solid paper if you don't have any coordinating. And I'm cutting little thin strips out of the coordinating this little orange here. I'm trying to line up and get even sizes. And then I'm going to score that paper. I want to show you how it looks. I like the way it looks. So now I'm going to finish putting my box together. And I'm going to score that paper. So it's 1.5 and I'm scoring it 4.5 because it's a 3-inch face on the box. So I want 3 inches in the middle. So if I score at 1.5 and 4.5, that gives me 3 inches in the middle, and I'm going to fold those over as well. It's easier to adhere it and wrap it around the sides when you've actually scored it. So you're going to take the tape off of all 4 sides, and you're just going to line that up right along the edge and just stick it down tight. Score tape sticks really, really quickly, but again, there's no wiggle room. But in this particular situation, I didn't feel that I needed wiggle room. I felt that I could manage lining up 2 sides. And there's my cute little box. So let's decorate it, because a black box is pretty, but it's not as cute. So now I want to make sure I have the front end, and see how that just pops right on there. So now I'm going to put a little bit of glue there. Now, in hindsight, I would have done this a little bit differently, and I will do it differently in the next box. So that's the beauty about multiples, is that you learn as you're going along. So I didn't line up these orange strips. I just kind of laid them down hither skither, and I ended up cutting them off. Or the next box, I will score them like I did the bats, so that they're even on the sides. So just kind of push that down, and then give it a little trim. Again, I got spiky hair. If I had a ponytail, it wouldn't even show up. So give it a little trim so the front of your box looks really, really cute. Now I'm looking for a tag. I wanted a tag. And so I really wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, but I ended up using the witch's hat one, and I love this Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer. You just line up the 2 edges, give it a little trim, and then I'm going to cut up the other side. And the reason it bounces is because my camera is sitting on my table. So now, if I had a pencil, I'd be using one, but I couldn't find it. So I wanted to mark the middle of my tag. I don't trust myself to eyeball it when it comes to things like that, because I know I'll mess it up. So I mark it, hole punch it. And now I'm cutting some paper in 1-inch strips. I want 1 inch by 6 inch, because I'm going to decorate my Hershey Nuggets. And if you have a paper that has a pattern, as you can see, it needs to line up like this. Otherwise, your pattern will be going in the wrong direction. You'll see what I mean. So I cut 3 different papers, and I lined them all up and cut them all in 3 inches. So I have a bunch of 1 inch by 3 inch strips. I'm going to put some glue on both sides of my pattern paper. I'm going to grab the back of my nugget, hold it tight with my thumb, wrap it around, and then just give it a couple of seconds, 3 or 4 or 5 seconds of holding it down. And then I'm going to put it down on my work surface. That helps it just keep from popping up. You could use score tape, but I found this really strong liquid glue works really well. I get tired of gluing, capping, so I glue as much as I can. It's not going to dry right away. I do have some time to get all of this adhered. And I'm going to do that with 4 nuggets for this particular box. Now, if I had some paper shred, I would have put it in there first, but I don't have any. But go out and get yourself some paper shred and put it inside your box. Add your nuggets, add a little more paper shred, and look how stinking cute. I love decorating my candy. So I have this great twine. It's Lawn Fawn lawn trimmings, and it's orange, and I love it. I just cut a little piece off. And the box is really easy to put together. You kind of pop the bottom edges in, and then you get the top edges in, and it all lines up. Now I am putting this through the top pieces because I didn't want them to have to cut the string to open up the box. So I put it through the handle, little handle area, or I call it a handle, and I'm adding my little tag, and I'm going to tie it in just a messy bow, trying to get it in the middle. Not real tight. You don't want to crunch the handle. Trim off your extra if you don't need it. And you've got yourself a really cute looking box. I mean, look how cute that is. And here's the first box that I made. So I'm going to show you how to do that one. How you can take some solid paper and you can make a pattern paper front. So I grab that again. I'm only going to cut that top piece. So I'm measuring it. It's about 3 inches. So I think I cut my pattern paper to 3 1/4. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to put it through my die cut machine. Now I'm trying to figure out what color I want. So I grabbed My Favorite Things persimmon and I cut it and put the box exactly the same way as I did previously. And now I'm also scoring this here. It is a lot easier to decorate this before you put it all together. So get your pattern paper face on before you put it all together. Now I'm using liquid glue here because I wanted that wiggle room. And I already went and put my score tape on my sides and I put my box together. Now you're just going to do a light amount of glue, but you want it all over. And you're going to work quickly because you don't want it to dry, because you need to bend this while it's wet. If you wait for it to dry, it's not going to bend very well. So you need to bend your score lines while they're wet. So I'm bending them, bending them, bending them. And because the glue gives it a little bit of wiggle room, it will all lay out really nicely. And then I'm going to cut that little flappy piece off, and there is my front. So now what I'm doing here is I'm decorating different candy. So I'm taking these Hershey's because they fit in there. And I think these are, I want to say 2 by 3 inches, but you can measure any candy you have, doing the exact same thing, holding it tight and pushing it down, holding it for about 2-3 seconds, 5, whatever, and then lay it flat on your work surface and let gravity take its course. So look how cute they look all together. Putting them in the box. Look how cute I love that. So here's just a doodlebug twine. It's called Halloween. Cannot find it anywhere, but you can get any twine anywhere. This is the Avery Elle Everyday Circle Tag Stamp Set, and I really love it, and it's very ingenious. I did not use it as it was intended. Let me show you how they intended for you to use it. So I do want to add the thank you, and here's the circle. So all of the sentiments are designed to go inside that circle. Is that like so genius? I did not want to do it this time, so I put my stamp set on my clear block, and I rubbed it really hard with my thumb and fingers, my fingers right there. It's conditioning the stamp so that it stamps well. I grabbed my Ranger Java ink, and my first stamp did not come out great because there was something stuck to the stamp. And it's really hard to see in the video, but where the A and the N meet. So I cleaned off my stamp and I re-stamped it, and the second time I got an amazing image, and I was really happy with it. So I cut this out a bunch of different times out of different circles until I found the one that I liked. And I'm not going to show you all that, but I just wanted you to know that it's okay to change your mind. So I grabbed this Tailored Expression Stitch Circle die. Not sure it's available, but there's tons of stitch circle dies out there. And I cut that out. And I decided that I really wanted to have like a little border around that. So I grabbed my Hero Arts Infinity die, recut the orange, cut the brown out of the Tailored Expressions with the stitching, put some foam tape on the back of the thank you, popped it up, and I am in love, and I love the way it came out. So I grabbed some little clear baubles from my stash. I popped those on there as well just to give it a little oomph. Poked a hole with my pokey tool on some foam before I did a hole punch. I wanted to make sure I could get it through because I have that foam tape on there and I didn't want to crush my tag. Now this is what I do when I get new twine. I don't know about you, but I can never remember what it is. So I just cut off the label and I put it inside the barrel of the twine, and that way if I want to know what it is or if I want to reorder it, I do. So I cut a piece of twine, I threaded it through just the one layer in the front like I did earlier, tied it in a really loose bow, moved it over till it's in the center. And then I decided that I really didn't like it. I thought it was boring. So I cut another piece of cardstock and I 1 inches and scored it 1.5 and 4.5. And this time I got smart and scored my little accent pieces as well. And that way the accent pieces on the side look exactly like the front. So here are my 3 treat boxes out of Halloween paper, pattern paper. You can use any paper, Christmas, Valentine's, it doesn't matter. And look what you can do with just mixing and matching your pattern papers. So don't hoard them anymore. Get out and use your pattern papers. So I hope you like these. I hope the video didn't go too fast. For some reason, I always feel like I need to shorten them. Here's a close-up look of the boxes again, and thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.